It's a raw, true, I guess you could say, classic motorcycle feel. Now, this thing never ceases to put a smile on my face. I really, really love this bike. What is up, YouTube? My name is Vinny and welcome to Road Blast Media. Before we crack on, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Now today we are going to be doing the Royal Enfield Classic 350 versus the Royal Enfield Classic 500, and we're going to be comparing the two bikes, what they've changed from the older model to the new, how they both ride, which one is for you. So yeah, just another big thanks to Royal Enfield New Zealand for lending me this beautiful Classic 350. This video wouldn't be possible without them, so go check out their YouTube channel, Royal Enfield Australia and New Zealand. There's a lot of great stuff on there. They've got the Busted Knuckles build-off competition, which they've just completed. Those are some great videos to watch, so go check out their channel. But yeah, so how about we crack on? So basically, first off in this comparison video, I'll just go on about the looks of the bikes. Now, they're very similar, although they have actually changed a lot. So the Classic sits on a completely different, the Classic 500, sorry, sits on a completely different frame than the 350. They've reimagined. To my knowledge, I think it is the same frame as the Meteor, although I'm not certain on that. But yeah, so starting off, like looks wise, the 350 has a beautiful paint job, and I know that the Classics also come out in some beautiful paint jobs. We've got the matte black, so it doesn't do it as much justice as this nice glittery color, but that can't be taken away from the Classic because there's also a matte black model of the 350, and I think it looks cool, but just definitely not finished as nicely as this. They've got the beautifully hand painted accents on there, the embossed Royal Enfield logo. It looks absolutely brilliant. So if we go over to the Classic, you can see that the dash is quite old school. It's very much classic looking. There's not much going on here. You've got the gas light and engine light and a few other little things here, but other than that, it's very basic, very analog, very true to the Classic design. And then as we come over to the 350, the dash has definitely been updated. Some will like it, some won't. I personally really like the new dash. I like the features on there, although some true purists will prefer the older style Classic dash as it stays with the times a little bit more. I'm sure back in the 50s and 60s they did not have an LCD dash, so you know, but it's a very subtle one and it still looks the part, looks really nice, keeps it old school. I really like this Classic 350 logo here. I know that the Tripper navigation is slotted into this part if you have that option, which we do not on this bike. And if we go over to the hand grips here, the Classic 500 does have some nice grips. It's improvement over the Interceptor and GT for sure. And then just your run-of-the-mill standard switches and things like that. Pretty standard for most Royal Enfields. As we come over to the 350 though, they've got the new and upgraded grips and switches that are found on the Meteor. Now I very much prefer these. I think they look the part really well. They still keep that classic look with getting a more finished and nice design to it. The grips are really nice to use, a bit thicker than usual, and as well as the brake and clutch levers, they're a nicer, sort of more smoother and more ergonomic style lever than the very bog standard ones found on the Classic. Up the front you've got these two little lights here which are found on both bikes, although the 350 has a very much updated headlight, and you can see the Royal Enfield logo there, and it looks super nice. The Classic 500 is definitely a bit more of a murky sort of look. You can't really see in front behind the headlight grille there. But yeah, a few other comparisons. So we've got the new 350 engine, nicely chromed off. You can also get it blacked out like this one, and that one comes all chromed out on some of the other colors too. Now the 350 engine is about the same, like it looks around about the same size as the 500, although I find it a little bit more smoother and a little bit really nice looking. The Classic also looks very cool, and of course you have the kickstart on the Classic, which is a massive selling point for a lot of people. I know my dad really wanted the kickstart, so that's why he went for the 500. What you'll notice on the 500 too is it has a longer exhaust. It sticks out behind the rear wheel, whereas on the 350 it comes in just short of the rear tyre here, about level with the rear tyre. And on the classic 500 you have fixed foot pegs, and on the 350 they are movable, like they flex like that, which I find is probably a big reason why you don't feel much vibration in your feet on the 350 compared to the 500. The 500 is a vibration machine, which I do love, but I feel it probably could get old, and the 350 is definitely more refined. Now we will be jumping on the saddle of both of these bikes to give my impressions of how they ride and other things like that, so stay tuned. Now the rear tail assembly here on the 350 I very much prefer over the 500. The 500 does look classic, but it's very basic, and the indicator lights here, they've got visible screws, and it's just got this black plate here with a bunch of reflectors on it, and I just feel like it does not look as nice as the 350s. They've definitely gone a little bit more above and beyond and created a rear tail assembly with a higher finish, as well as you have the lovely Royal Enfield logo on the back here. Now seat wise, I find that the 350 seat, it looks really great. It isn't exactly as classic as the proper classic 500, as they've got the springs in the seat here. In saying that, the 350 seat I find is a lot more comfortable. It's a bit more ergonomic, it's not so flat, but both bikes are very comfortable, do not get me wrong. It's also nice to see on the 500 they have the Royal Enfield logo here, and I don't know if you can see, but there's actually a Royal Enfield logo on the main seat. Now I don't believe that's the case with the 350, no it is not, but that is still cool. So yeah, up the front they obviously have the updated indicators as well, and the front forks look to be around about the same as the 500. Similar design, they could be different though, I'm not certain on that, but as you can see they've got the indicator light assembly here with the visible screws. Now to be honest, for maintenance the visible screws are probably actually really handy, changing a bulb and things like that, but the smoother 350 ones do look the part a little bit better in my opinion. Now we also have the horn here on the classic, which has a nice sort of chrome cover on it, and on the 350 it is just the standard one that you'll also find on the other lineup of Enfields, which is cool, and that's not really anything to worry about, it's just a horn. But yeah, so basically that's just the rundown of the exterior of the bikes. I may have missed some things, but that's about it. Obviously, like the 350 does have the bi-brake caliper, and it seems to have had some updated things in the brakes here. The rear disc definitely looks bigger, and also the thing I found interesting is the chain is on the opposite side. So on the classic 500 you'll find the chain on the right hand side of the bike, and on the 350 you'll find it on the left hand side of the bike. Now I didn't know that until I got these two bikes actually together, so that was really interesting for me. But yeah, so that's basically the rundown of the exterior of the bikes and the differences between them, and now how about we hop on the saddle and find out how both of them ride. I will be starting out on the classic 350 first, and then I'll move over to the 500. Okay guys, so we're on the 350 and we're just going to take it for a little bit of a spin, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it, and then we jump on the 500 and I'll tell you my thoughts on that, and then at the end I'll give you my verdict of which one to buy. So the 350 is a very smooth motorcycle to ride. It's a nice little ripper. It's definitely, like, having ridden the 500 before, it is much smoother than the 500. It's much more tame, it's much more rider friendly. It's a great little bike in the end of the day, and perfect for somebody who is a daily commuter around cities, things like that. It's exceptionally good on gas with the new refined 350 engine, and they've done some really good things with balancing the engine and making it a lot more smoother than the 500. Now that may take away from some people. Some people really love the raw roughness of the 500, and that's okay, you can still get them. They are harder to come by, but the 350 is a new kid on the block, and I say they do a really good job of keeping the classic look but also keeping with the modern times. Now it's an absolute beautiful bike to ride. The new grips are very welcome, it's lovely, it just cruises along nicely at the speed limits. It'll do 100, but it's about tapping out. I think top speed at 71 miles an hour, 114 kilometers an hour, and the 500 will do A bit above that it'll do 128 kilometers an hour with no modifications. So it has definitely a bit more top end and also some more low down torque. Although in saying that, 350 can still boogie down low, and that's where it shines the most. It's a beautiful little bike, and yeah, basically it's just an all-rounder great little machine to ride. I really like it. It's an absolute brilliant motorcycle, and it is worth every penny, especially at the very low price of you know, the bike that it is. So yeah, how about we switch over to the Classic 500 and we'll give my thoughts from here. Alright guys, now we're on the Classic 500. Now it immediately is revealed to me of why they gave this bike an update for the everyday person who wants to buy a motorbike like this. My feet have pins and needles in them, and it is vibrating like nothing else. Now that is really appealing to some people. It's appealing to me. I really like the vibration of this motorcycle. It's blimmin' shaking the tachometer there, and we're just going to cut through here. So yeah, immediately the seat is a lot harder. The springs aren't doing much help at all for cushioning. It's a raw, true, I guess you could say, classic motorcycle feel. Now this thing never ceases to put a smile on my face. I really love this bike. It is super fun to ride, and it definitely has a lot more punch in the low range and in the top end compared to the 350. There's no doubt about that. But it's noisier. I feel like the 350 with as far as stock exhaust we're talking, I feel like the 350 has a nicer engine note, although I really do love the helicopter sort of bob style of the Classic 500 as well. Now a few things I might add is the brakes do feel a lot sort of softer on this, I guess you could say. They're not as sharp. The acceleration is definitely stronger, and it has a lot more torque, but the more you put on with the acceleration, the more vibrations your feet get. So yeah, both of them are amazing bikes. The Classic 500 definitely encapsulates the classic feel, I think, a little bit more, but the 350 and the 500 basically look equally as classic. There's a few little modern things on the 350 that kind of give it away compared to the Classic 500. They're both great motorcycles, and I have to say that if I was only going to choose one, like if I could only have one motorcycle and it was out of these two, I think I would go the 350, simply because of everyday usability, and also, you know, just the fact it's better on gas, and it's about the same amount of power. But this is definitely a more fun motorcycle to ride, there's no doubt about it. The 350 is still a lot of fun, but the 500 is an absolute joy to ride, and it makes me laugh and smile every time I get on this thing, whereas the 350 can be a little bit more tame, you know what I mean. But in saying that, it's an amazing little bike, and I think it looks incredible. Definitely on the 500, the indicator switches and things like that also feel a lot cheaper. We'll get the speed up a little. Yeah, see, this does accelerate exceptionally better, but that is because it's got a whole 150 cc's extra of displacement, which is a given, you know. But they're both not speed machines, you know. That's not why anybody's buying a Royal Enfield Classic lineup, whether it's a 350 or a 500. You're not buying it to go fast, you're buying it to have fun and to look good, and they both do that really well. I would just say longevity wise and everyday practicality, I would personally go for the 350. Although, since I have other bikes like the Himalayan, the GT, with access to the Interceptor, the Classic 500 would probably be my go, simply because it's an addition to our collection, you know. It's a bit of a toy. It's not really a everyday bike for us. It's more of a, you know, a novelty thing, a bit of a fun thing, and the 350 is more practical, just everyday sort of ride, and it's definitely smoother, the grips feel better, the build quality feels better, and it seems to be a bit more reliable, fuel efficient, and things like that. Although the 500 is still really good on gas, and it seems to yeah, you know, like make up for it pretty well. But in the end of the day, I guess the verdict is get whatever one you feel you'll like the best. You know, if you're interested in a 350 and you like the practicality of it, the fuel economy and the looks and everything like that, but you're not too keen on having a bike that you might have to do a bit of wrenching on, and also, you know, has a bit of vibrational, you know, feedback and things like that, then the 350 is the go for you. But the 500 is for someone who's a true classic enthusiast but doesn't want all the maintenance of, let's say, like carburetors and proper classic bikes. The 500 will do it for you. It gives you all the same feelings, makes all the same noises, it vibrates like hell. It's an absolute blaster ride, but it can get, you know, tiring in the end. So yeah, that's basically it for the video today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let's just take one last look at the two beautiful classic beasts that Royal Enfield have made, and I honestly think they've done a great job on the 2022 model. There's nothing that I could say negative about it. You know, it's not a speed machine, it was never designed to be one, so you can't really complain about the power specs on either of these bikes. But it's up to you in the end of the day. If you want a true, proper, authentic classic feel with all of the vibrations, all of the noise and the roughness of a proper classic bike, go for the Classic 500. If you want a great everyday bike that looks the part, sounds awesome, you know, looks great, super practical, good on gas, you really can't go past the 350. So that'll do it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to make, and yes, thanks again to Royal Enfield New Zealand for letting me borrow this 350 for a few videos and things like that. It's been really awesome for the channel. So go and check out their channel and give them a shout out from Road Blast Media, and check out some of their videos that they've been doing, because it's really incredible. So thanks, guys. There will be some more videos in the future to come with this 350. I'm going to film a few more while I have it. And so yeah, really hope you enjoyed the video. This is Vinny from Road Blast Media.